Good
Perfect.
afternoon,
Perfect.
Arian. How are you today?
Actually, good evening.
Oh, it's
Good
good
evening for me,
evening. Good
but good afternoon for
afternoon for
you.
you.
No problem. No
How
problem.
are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Today, we're basically going to have a conversation involving education and mental health, especially seeing that you are such an academic and you also still manage to do so much outside of academics. But before we dive into the actual topic, could you please just give a brief summary of who you are and your background?
Perfect. Perfect. So my name is Aaryan Lakhan Paul. I'm a first year international student at Huron University College at the University of Western Ontario. I am from India and I am from the capital city, New Delhi, which is popularly known for being one of the famous cities in India. So that's exciting. And if I could share something of a background, I've done my schooling from India as well. I have not traveled to Canada yet. I'm studying in a Canadian institution. I've not been able to travel there yet, but I hope that I can be there soon.
Okay, before we get into it, how did you make it to Huron? Because I also read that you have a scholarship on your linked account. So how did you go around navigating and getting that scholarship?
Oh, that was a crazy ride. That was a crazy, crazy ride. So what happened is that there's a scholarship called the Presidential Scholarship at Huron, and I think it's worth a lot of money. What happened is that some logistical issue happened, and I was not able to apply for that scholarship. But our international recruitment specialist in India, her name is Anjali Anand Seth, ma'am. She helped me to apply to Huron. And what happened is I just explained my financial situation to her. I just expressed that, ma'am, these are my achievements. These are what I've done in the past. Do you think that I'll be able to apply for a scholarship? She said, definitely yes, do apply for the scholarship. She encouraged me. So what happened is I had to fill an application form wherein I had to express what I've done in these achievements and what I've taken out of it. For example, I've played cricket, soccer, and basketball. That's good, but what I have been able to learn from it, I had to express that. So after filling that application, I was very lucky and I'm very grateful till this moment that I received that scholarship. That was the process through which I applied. But for the other scholarships as well, like for the upper year scholarships, for the second year, third year scholarships, I think there's a separate application. But for this entrance scholarship, this was the process that you had to fill an application with some answers and your background history.
So what's your congratulations, by the way? What's your favorite thing
Thank you so
about
much.
Huron? Even though you aren't there to experience it, what's the one thing that stands out about it for you?
Okay. So my favorite thing about Huron, that's a definitely interesting question. I think my favorite thing about Huron is that it is an open arms institution. And open arms institutions means that they accept you with love, with compassion, with care, and with respect. I think this is the favorite thing. I could go on and on about Huron and its advantages, but I think this is the definitely the first thing that comes to my mind, that it's an open arms institution. They know your story, they know your background, they know what you're going through, they know what you're coming for, they know what your goals are, and they try to support that in whatever capacity they can. I think this is the best fact that I love about Huron.
So what would you say is the importance of education to you?
Importance of education. First, I think how I define education is that it's not a privilege, it's not an obligation, it's a human right for each and every person on in this world. It's their right to receive education. I think importance of education, like one big misconception is that people think education can only be found in schools or in universities or any academic institutions. I think that's a very big misconception, that education is only found in educational institutions. But the real fact is that you find education all out in the world. You learn it from your family, you learn it from your friends. And what's the most important thing? I think I cannot say the most important thing about education, but I can list one or two things about the importance of education is that it helps you grow. It
Okay.
helps you grow mentally, it helps you grow physically, it helps you develop your skills, acquire skills which are crucial, not for right now, might be the best thing for your future. For example, if I'm receiving education at the university right now, my goal is not to achieve instant success or not to achieve instant perfection or something like that. My goal has always been that I'm acquiring education right now, which I'll put to use throughout my life. What I'm receiving is skills, what I'm receiving is life values.
You mentioned earlier on a bit about how you also played cricket, soccer, and basketball. So please share a bit of your cultural activities that you do besides academics.
So I think besides academics, I have my own crazy world. I've tried to balance both of them, like the academics and the co-curricular. In the co-curricular sector, I play cricket, soccer, and basketball professionally. Like in my home country, not in Canada. I have not been to Canada yet, but in my home country, I play these three sports professionally. And in addition to this, I play guitar. I think you might be able to see my guitar in the background. No, I don't think it's there right now. But I play guitar as well. And I love to dance. I love to dance my heart out with beatboxing. So I learned that as well. But at my time at Huron, I think I was able to transfer these skills to the university life. Wherein, for example, if I'm interested in soccer, I joined the soccer club, I became an executive. I was interested in outreach and engagement skills. So I joined the Huron Indian Cultural Association and I became a first year representative. What I intended to do, that's what I was telling you about education. That's what I was explaining is that whatever you're gaining in the past or at the present, it's not necessarily going to help you in the present. It might not help you in the present. But what you have to realize is that in the future, there's certainly going to be a stake wherein you're going to value those skills, wherein you're not going to regret anything that you've been taught from a family or from your education institutions. So these were some of my co-curricular interests or records.
Those are quite interesting because there's so much of them. How do you keep the balance? You spoke about balancing it, but how do you actually balance everything out?
Uh, I've been asked this question numerous times, like in my school as well. As in, Aaron, how do you like whenever I'm going to an interview? I think one of the most important facts is how do you aim to achieve a balance. What I try to do, I try to tackle it mentally, not physically. I try to convince myself that okay, these there are some times wherein I need to leave some things behind and prioritize something. I in my earlier statement I mentioned that I did not prioritize any sector. But when it comes to certain activities, like for example, if I have an exam after the weekend, like on Monday, I have an exam and I have 3 to 4 coachings or practices on Saturday and Sunday, then what I value here is that I try to maintain a healthy communication cycle wherein if I'm involved in cricket or soccer or basketball or academics, I just maintain a healthy communication with all of them wherein I can ensure that if I'm leaving practice, if I'm leaving a certain amount of practice or something like that, I can just inform someone, inform my coach or inform my upper representatives that I'll not be coming. And that's the best thing about them. Touchwood, all of them were super, super friendly, super, super helpful. That is one of the reasons that I was able to maintain a balance. But the second thing I could say is it's all about how you tackle it mentally. If you think you can devote your time, see, commitment is very important. If you're committing, then you have to uphold that commitment, right? So that's what I've always valued, that if I'm committing for something, then I have to do it. If there's a circumstance wherein I'm not able to do it, then I think that would be clear for me as well as for the person who has hired me or who's playing with me. So definitely the second most important thing is that whatever you feel you can commit to, whatever you feel you can provide your energy to in a manner which does not affect you physically or does not affect you mentally is the most important thing for me. So this balance thing, again, there are some strategies, creating schedules, creating, how do you say, a plan, but these not always work for me. They don't always work for me. I try to make schedules, I try to make, a certain timetable, but the best fact is that how you convince yourself mentally. If you can do it, then no amount of paper, no amount of plan will help you. If you can do it from your mind, then you can do it physically as well. That's what uh, that's how I try to maintain a balance.
I like how you just flew into the mind and being mental because my next question is about mental health. And I want to know, how do your academics affect your mental health?
Okay. Uh, See, I'll tell you one honest thing. If you're in an Indian institution, if you're studying in an Indian educational curriculum, then there's competition. Definitely, there's competition. You're in a race of getting marks, you're in a race of proving yourself the best. But again, academics has affected me mentally sometimes because we used to have weekly tests. we used to have, weekly exams or something like that, wherein I wanted to prove that I know the knowledge. As I processed through the years, as I went from grade 6 to grade 7 to grade 8 to grade 12, what I realized is that these marks or these grades are temporary. It's going to give me one day fame. It's going to give me one day benefit where I'm going to say that I topped the school or I topped this or I topped that. That's a one day fame. I don't want that. I really don't want that. So what I could say here is that it has affected me mentally sometimes. I had some mental breakdowns, or I had somewhere I was struggling mentally because of this pressure, because of this academic pressure wherein I need to get these grades. Because in an Indian education curriculum, grades are very important. Like they judge you on the basis of grades. You have to get those marks, you get admission. I don't intend to defame my country or defame my education curriculum. It's a very great curriculum. It's one of the most leading curriculums. But what happens is that they value grades a little too much as compared to the Canadian education curriculum. So yes, I'm sorry I'm going a little haywire of the question, but again, academics has affected me mentally sometimes. I've had some problems with it, but again, as long as you're honest to yourself, as long as you think you have worked hard, then I don't think the grades matter. If you're getting a 20 out of 30, but at the same time you know that you worked hard for that 20, then I don't think there will be any situation where you're affected mentally. As long as you're honest to yourself that you've worked hard for it, then I don't think there will be any situation wherein any mental situation would occur. But for me personally, I've had times.
What are your coping mechanisms, especially during the pandemic, with regards to, can you hear me? Yes, with regards to mental health, academic, social life, and everything else that you need to balance in your life.
Okay. That's a really interesting question again. And I think I'm very excited to answer this because I think when you're in a situation wherein you're tackling your mental situation and you're trying to maintain your goals, I think there's very important that you have someone who's supporting you always. In my case, it's my mother. I really love my mother. Actually, it's my whole family. I think it's my whole family who's supporting me. So what I do is that whenever I'm feeling low, whenever I'm feeling, that I can't do it, I think I have people saying on my back, behind my back, saying that Aryan, you can do it. I think this is one of the things that always motivates me. Again, if I'm struggling to maintain social life, if I'm struggling to maintain like contact with my friends, I think there have always been one to two friends in my entire life. I can actually name them. Their names are Karthik and Naman. They're my best friends in India right now, and I hope to maintain my best friendship with them throughout my life. But they've always been there for me, and they've always motivated me. And they taught me one thing actually. They taught me one very important thing, that if in the present I'm not able to maintain my social life, for example, I'm not able to talk to people for a month because of my exams or something like that, they always told me that it's not the end of the world. If you're losing contact with people for a month, it's not that they will forget you. It's never going to be a situation wherein they will forget who Aryan is. If they truly like you, if they truly are your friends, then they'll be willing to wait for a month or something like that. So that is one more thing, how I aim to maintain my social life, wherein I try not to stress too much about it. I'm an overthinker. I can proudly say that I'm an overthinker. I try to overthink each and everything. But when it comes to very important decisions, when it comes to this decisions wherein I have to overthink or something like that, then I try not to, how to say, try to balance the situation, or try to analyze the situation as a thing wherein what my not what my pros and cons are, but what I will be prioritizing. For example, when it comes to academics and social life, my priority sometimes would be academics, because social life could wait for. I'm not saying social life is not important, it's very very important. But personally, when it comes for a situation as me, wherein I had to prioritize between two the sectors, then I would prioritize academics, because I know that my friends would be able to understand me and would be able to understand that I'm going through something right now. So they can surely wait for it, and I would do the same for them for sure. So I think these are some of the techniques wherein I try to maintain, this, how to say, like a coping mechanism. Then I try to uh, mentally be stable sometimes, not always, but sometimes definitely.
So I love how you talk about maintaining everything and having people that actually understand. because that makes everything get so much better and the people around you understand what you're going through. At the moment, right now, how would you rate your mental health states? One being bad and 10 being very good.
Oh, it's very difficult to actually rate my mental health right now because I might not be the one to rate my mental health. I think my mother would be the one who can rate my mental health because she is observing me daily. But if there is a situation wherein I have to rate my mental health, then that could be from 1 to 10 could be 6, maybe 5 or 6. And I can also explain the reasoning behind it. I am saying 5 or 6 is because I can never say that I'm mentally perfect. So it can never be a 10. Not even in a single moment of my life. I can never say that I'm mentally super strong or mentally perfect or something like that. And also, I cannot say 0 because I've been able to maintain my mental health during these times with the support of the institution, with the support of my family, with the support of my friends. It's a 5 or 6 for me because in this COVID era and my financial situation, I had to go through a lot. But what I realized is that if you keep a smile on your face, it's very difficult to keep a smile on your face all times. But if you do keep a smile on your face, if you try to keep a smile on your face, then the difficulties which are bugging you might not be able to enjoy it. So when they see me smiling, when those difficulties see me smiling, then they try to go away. So I think that would be the reason that it's a 5 or 6. But I'm definitely trying to get that scale higher towards an 8 or 9. But it's not easy. I'll try to do that.
That is awesome. I'm glad you're trying and you're gonna get there one day. This is you. You are studying at Huron, you are doing a lot. Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Mhm. Okay, this is a thing that I might not have shared with a lot of people, but my inner desire or my, how to say, aspiration is to become a professor one day. I want to get into academia, I want to teach, and I think one of the reasons is that I speak too much. I try to speak a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, and I love to explain things. For example, if a person is asking me doubts, then I love to get the concept first and then I try to explain that concept to the person. I think that is how I found my passion for academia. Since my school life also as well, I'm very passionate about economics. So I think that was one of the times wherein I realized that I want to get into academia. So further down the lane, touch wood if that's possible, then I want to see myself pursuing a PhD and becoming a professor one day at whatever institution possible, like for example Huron as well. I would love to teach at Huron, but I don't know that right now. But I surely want to get into academia. I want to get into the teaching line.
That is awesome. My last question for you that I have is what is your biggest achievement this far or your proudest moment?
Okay, I think a proud moment. Well, Eve, I'll try to tell you this in I would say a two-parter answer if that's okay with you. I'll try to answer this in a two-parter format. The reason that I'm doing this in two-parter is that one of the achievements is really how to say it's really valuable for me. But the second achievement that I'll be saying is the one that I value very highly, like the most right now. So recently, what happened is that I was contacted by our international recruitment specialist to make a video for Huron, expressing what Huron means to me. And in that video, I tried to highlight what makes Huron class apart as an institution. How is it different from the other institutions? And I'm not saying the other institutions are bad. Other institutions are perfectly fine. But what Huron meant to me, I tried to express that in my video. So I shared that video with my international recruitment specialist. And I don't know how, but that video reached to Dr. Barry Craig, who's our president of the university at Huron. So he was really happy with that video and he decided to send me a Huron blue tie and a personalized letter in India. I was very excited to receive
Oh,
that.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. The best fact about this, not the best fact, but one of the most special facts or one of the cherry on top of the cake was that this blue tie uh, has not been given to like first years. Typically, they don't give it to first year students. They give it usually to upper year students. So I'm really, really grateful that I got the opportunity as a first year student to receive this token. And I'm trying my best to respect this level of token, and I'm trying my best to maintain the, how do you say, like they've given me this blue tie. I'm trying my best to show that if I deserve this as through the years proceed at Huron. The second achievement that I'll be saying, and I think this is the highlight of my time at Huron, or 2020 or 2021, a little bit 2021. I think this is the highlight. Is that when I got accepted at Huron, when I got that scholarship, I don't think I was doing it for me. I was doing it for my mother. Uh, I think like I'm going through some financial situations. I'll not talk about them in deep, but I think when I got accepted at Huron, I was at a stake or at a state wherein I could say that okay, I've achieved something. Not a lot, but I've definitely made my mother happy. So I think this was one of the main achievements that I had, that I got a smile on her face. I got to see her happy throughout my time at Huron. I got to see her observe me, that I was happy as well. I think this was the most important achievement, is that her happiness was really, really important, is really, really important for me.
Wow. I am out of words, honestly. She must be so proud. I am proud of you, and I know you're gonna do amazing things. So keep shining, keep being the star that you are. And do you have any closing remarks?
Closing remarks. I think, like, first of all, you have done a very wonderful job, and I want to apologize because, like, because of the time constraints or something like that, I had to postpone this meeting. I had to say that I was not available or something like that. Trust me, I am no prime minister. I'm no president. But what happened is that because of the time zones or something like that, I had a very bad sleep schedule. So I was trying to see as to, because I wanted this meeting to happen in a comfortable manner for you and me as well. And first of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, because I'm really, really grateful that I got to interact with you. And if I could say one closing remark, is that whenever it comes to education and mental health, these are two sectors which I think are undervalued. Mental health definitely is undervalued. Education, people do speak about it, but about mental health, people do not speak about it that often. So I think this is definitely undervalued. What I would try to say in my closing remark is that if you talk about financial literacy, that you need to know how money works, how stocks work, then I think mental literacy is also important, that you know how mental health works. I think this will be one of my closing remarks, is that value mental health as important as you're valuing your physical health. As long as you're valuing if you're getting thin or fat or something like that, then try to value the same fact that mental health also works the same way, that you get down or you get up or you get stable or something like that. Try to, I think, like, I'm no person who can dictate this, but I would definitely love to see this as the times proceed, that mental health is valued as important as physical health. It's definitely going there. It's in the process. There are many mental health advocates in our institution as well who are doing this, in the world as well who are doing this. Many leaders, but I think if this can be continued in the world throughout, that mental health is not undervalued. It's valued as equal as physical health.
Well, that is quite powerful. Quite powerful. And I agree with you. Mental health is not where it should be at, but we're heading there. There's a lot of progress with regards to it. So, with that being said, thank you so much for your wisdom, for your knowledge, for your advice, and most importantly, for your time. All the best for your future endeavors. And I hope that your night is awesome.
Thank you so much, Eve. And I want to thank you as well for giving me this opportunity. And I hope you have the bestest day. Just take care, and do let me know if you have any other questions, or if you want to reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'll always be there. But thank you so much for taking out the time as well.
Thank you so much.